want to show you right now, today, the exactly type of property I would buy if I starting over in 2026 with my first 40,000 and a full-time career. Is it not a theory? The actual property type, the actual criteria, and the actual numbers I would run before making any offer. So stay with me all the way to the end, because in a few minutes, I'm going to share the single most important filter that most first-time investors skip entirely. And it is the thing that separates women who build real wealth from women who spend their wills for years. So let's get into it. Before we dive in, if this is your first time here, welcome. I am Korianne Mar. I am a real estate investor for over 25 years of experience. I was a founder of a mortgage company that closed over 250 million in mortgages loan, the best-selling author of the book Property Master the Wealth, and I have personally invested in and sold over 100 rental real estate projects across the United States. I'm still investing in a few dozens of real estate property assets. More importantly than any of that, I achieved financial independence by the time I was 35, not by inheriting wealth, not marrying rich, by buying one cash flow property at a time while I work a full-time career, exactly like you are trying to do right now. This channel exists for one reason: to help professional women who are smart, driven, and hardworking to replace their salary in real estate cash flow, not someday, but strategically, step by step. If that is your goal, hit that subscribe button right now and ring the bell so you never miss a video, and share this channel with every woman in your life who deserve financial independence. Because when women build wealth, entire families and communities change. This is a movement, and I'm so glad you are here. Alright, let's get into it now. The property type I would buy today as my first investment is a small multifamily unit, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex in a B-class neighborhood in a landlord-friendly market. Here is why I choose this over a single-family home as my ideal first deal. Can you imagine this? You buy a duplex. You rent both units. On day one, two tenants are paying your mortgage together. If one tenant leaves, you still have income from the second unit. You are not in the zero cash flow panic scramble like you would be with a vacant single-family home. That built-in income buffer is everything for a professional woman who still has a full-time job and cannot afford to be wiped out by a vacancy. A real example here is one of my mentees, a software engineer in her late 30s, earning $125,000 a year, was terrifying of buying her first property. She bought a 175 duplex in Kansas City. Each unit rents for $850 per month. Total rent is $1,700 per month. Her mortgage, taxes, and insurance came to be $1,100 per month. After vacancy and maintenance reserve, she pockets approximately about $380 per month in positive cash flow. That is not her retirement, that is her foundation. That is unit one of her financial independence plan. That is what I want for you. Next, I would like to share with you my 3 non-negotiable before I make any offer. I just want to share, not every property is a good property. I have made mistakes buying properties that look good on paper and was nightmares in reality. So here are the 3 non-negotiables I check before I ever make an offer. Non-negotiable number 1. The number 1 rule as a screening tool. Divide the monthly rent by the purchase price. If the number is 0.8% or higher, keep analyzing. If it's below 0.6%, the cash flow math is very hard to make work at today's rate. For $180,000 property, I want to see at least $1,400 per month in achievable rent. This is a quick screen, not a final answer, but it's filter out deals that will waste your time immediately. Non-negotiable number 2. Landlord-friendly laws. This is the one most beginners skip and later regret deeply. Some states and cities make it incredibly difficult to remove a non-paying tenant. Some cities have strict rent control that caps your upside. Before I buy in any market, I research the eviction timeline and the rent control policy. Texas, Tennessee, Indiana, and Missouri, they are landlord-friendly. California and New York, much harder, so know your rules before you invest. Non-negotiable number 3, property condition is B class or better. Do not buy a distressed property as your first investment unless you have a contractor team and the renovation experience. A property in a good working condition with cosmetic updates needed is your sweet spot. You want cash flow from month to month, not 6-month renovation project that bleeds your reserve dry before your first tenant even move in. These 3 filters will save you from 80% of bad deals. Make sure to write them down and make a note and come back and recheck all these 3 non-negotiable. Next, I would like to share with you the 10 minutes cash flow test. Here is the formula I have used on every single deals for the last 25 years. You can run this in 10 minutes on any property and know immediately if it has potential. First, you need to know the monthly gross rent, and then you minus mortgage payments, principal and interest, minus property tax monthly, minus insurance monthly, and then minus vacancy reserve is about 5% of the gross rent, minus maintenance reserve about 10% of the gross rent. Then you know your net cash flow at the end. Remember, for some of you, you may want to minus the property management fee if you decide not to manage the property yourself. So make sure to factor that number in. Let me run this live on a real example right now. Property with 3-bedroom single family home in Indianapolis, Indiana. Purchase price about $165,000. Down payment 20% is $33,000. Loan amount is $132,000 at 7.25% interest rate. The principal and interest payment is about $900 per month. Tax about $150 per month, and interest about $100 per month. Total fixed monthly cost about $1,150. Market rent for the 3-bedroom in this market neighborhood is about $1,450 per month. Vacancy reserve 5% is about $73. Maintenance reserve at 10% about $145. Total reserve is about $218. Net cash flow for this one is $1,450 minus $1,150 minus $218, come out to be $82 per month. This is sound like nothing, but let me tell you what I look at next. I look at whether the rent is below market, because in this case, the actual market rent is about $1,500 to $1,600 per month, not $1,450. So let's use $1,450, that cash flow become $182 per month. And more importantly, that property is building equity every single month through mortgage pay down, and it is appreciating at 3 to 5% per year in that market. The tenant is buying that property for you while you're holding a full-time career. That is the buy and hold strategy working exactly as you designed. And that is what I want you to understand before you dismiss a deal just because the cash flow looks slim at the glance. Let me share with you about my own experience, whether it's a single family or a small multifamily. Single family homes are easier to manage, easier to finance as a primary residence using FHA or conventional loan with as little as 3.5% down. Attract longer-term tenants who treat the property like a home and have lower entry prices in most cash flow markets. If you are risk adverse, time constrained, and new to being a landlord, a single-family home in a strong rental market is completely legitimate first investment. Small multifamily like duplex, triplex, or fourplex is a great property for a professional woman building toward financial independence. Because a single vacancy does not stop your cash flow, if you live in one unit and rent the others, that is called house hacking. You can use a FHA loan with just 3.5% down, dramatically lower your barrier to entry. Here is a real example of a house hacking done right. A client of mine, a nurse working about 60 hours per week, bought a triplex in the Memphis. 210,000 still live in one unit, renting the other two for $1,850 each. Total income in rent from the two unit about $1,700 per month. Her total mortgage, tax and insurance about $1,450 per month. She is living nearly rent-free and cash flow about $250 per month from a property she bought with just 3.5% down. For busy professional women, that is a life-changing math. My recommendation, if this is your first deals and you have limited time for management, start with a single-family home. Newer build properties to eliminate CapEx, we call that capital expenditures. If you are willing to house hack or invest in cash flow market, go straight to the duplex or triplex or fourplex. I need to be honest with you about the biggest mistakes I see professional women make. And it is not buying the wrong property. It is waiting too long to buy any property at all. A few of my students spent 2 years early in their journey over analyzing, over researching, and waiting for the perfect deal, the perfect market, the perfect timing. Those 2 years of paralysis cost them the equity growth, the mortgage pay down, and the cash flow from 2 properties they could have bought in year 1. I talk to women every week who said, I will start investing when rates go down. They said that in 2022. They say that in 2023. They say that in 2024. They say it in 2026. Meanwhile, the women in my community, the ones who bought an imperfect deal in an imperfect market, they are now 3, 4, or 5 properties deep. They are building 2 or 3, replacing their salary. They are winning. A good enough cash flow property bought today will always outperform the perfect property you are still waiting to find in 2 years. Imperfect actions beats perfect inactions every single time. So what you can do today? Here is your action step, not next week, not next month, today. Go to Zillow or Realtor.com right now. Pick one city from the Midwest, Kansas City, Indianapolis, or Memphis. Filter for 3-bedroom home or the small multifamily under $250,000. Find 3 properties, screenshot them, then run my 10 minutes cash flow formula for each one. You are not buying today. You are training your eyes. You are building the muscle that turns you from someone who watched videos about real estate into someone who owns real estate. That muscle is built 1 rep at a time, starting today. And then you run those numbers, come back here in this video and drop them in the comments. I read every single comment. I will personally reply to as many as I can because I want to see you win. That is why I'm here. Now I want to hear from you. What is your biggest hesitations when it comes to buying your first or next rental property right now? Is it the down payments, the rates, or fear of bad tenants? Not knowing which market to start in? Drop it in the comment below because your question may become my next video. And if you know a woman in your life who need to hear this, a college, a friend, a sister, share this video with her right now. Let's build this community together. If this video resonated with you and you want to know how to build real estate income while working a 9-to-5 job, that is the very next step you need to take. I have a full video right here walking you through my exact step-by-step, so you can watch it next. So I will see you there. Until next time, happy investing. Ciao.